go on power tools. Yes, there are dildos that go on power tools. There's drills. There's brooms. There's stuff that looks like a jackhammer. There are things that are, yeah. Yeah. There are things underground that, not just underground too, like, and those machines sometimes are worth a lot of money. So they're not, some can be handmade. Like there's pimps that take pride in making power tools into sex toys. But yeah. Walmart. Do you guys remember when I think that was in like 2014 or 2015 maybe, where all these Walmarts were shutting down to be revamped? Does everybody remember that?
Plumbing problems. Many of them had plumbing problems.
Many had the same exact plumbing problems, but they all, when everybody went back into the Walmart, they were all getting gutted out. It was right before, I think it was right before
there's an agenda 2030.
The previous election. I want to say it was 2015 or 2016.
Yeah, it was been a while. It was around the time when they were talking about Jade Helm 15, and there's Agenda 2030, and there's one between there. I forget what it is, but the deep state has always been working towards this place where we're at now, where people are locked down, where we lose our freedoms, where we don't have our freedom of speech. They've been working for that for a long time. Had Hillary had she gotten in this last election, you'd be living in a different reality. You've seen how things have already lined up and played out.
Look how aggressive people are over this mask. People want to fight people. People are killing people. People are dragging people out of the store lifeless after they got in knockdown, drag out fights over a mask. Why?
There's more stuff going on. You gotta look deeper.
Why? There's a slogan, "My body, my choice" right now. So how come it's not somebody's choice if they want to be infected or not? When people had the cold, nobody was flipping the hell out about somebody being infected, because if you sneezing and coughing and all this stuff, if you come outside, then you clearly are going to give your cold to someone, no matter what. It has to go to someone else. It's the way it goes. It's the way of life. It doesn't just stop at you. No, you sneeze, and at you just sneezed somewhere, even though it was in your hand. There's some part of that virus that airborne went somewhere else and got someone else sick. So how all of a sudden do you not care about somebody else's life? Like, it have consistency. There's no consistency. But anyways, Walmart was being built up for FEMA. Still is. There are tunnels everywhere. Why do you think they pop back up with facial recognition cameras? When you walk into Walmart or Target, you literally walk into a camera in every single aisle, on your cash register, when you are doing self-checkout, if you are in the makeup aisle, if you are in the food aisle, there are now cameras with facial recognition. Why?
Yeah, the things are so far progressed. You gotta look past.
People just don't know what we were getting ready for. But it stopped because someone didn't get into office. So what do you think will happen now when the person that is just like this person gets into office? Why are they re-preparing the Walmarts? Why are they prepping the Walmarts? guys. It's not because they all needed to be revamped all across the world at the same exact time. That's not it. That's not it. Nope, that's not it. Keep thinking. It's worse than that. Way worse than that. And your employees there. Why are they so it's a different type of world. If you walk into Target, somebody don't have their mask on, they're just like, whatever. You walk into Walmart, and I swear they got WWE fighters in there standing at that door.
They're very militant.
Like, why? It's a different type. If you walk into Stater Brothers, they're like, I don't give a shit, let them die. If you walk into Target, they're like, all right, sir, can you put your mask on? If you walk into Walmart, it's like, ding, ding, like, what? Why? Why are they so aggressive? What do they know? That's something that you should look into your nearest Walmart about. I feel like people need more information because I feel like they hear me, yes, but nobody's going to hear me until you see it for yourself. We're in complete danger and everybody keeps asking, can you just expose what you know? I know a lot, but there's some things that I know that if I tell you there's a reason why there's insurance videos, it will write our death ticket right here. This phone will click off like something out of a creepy horror movie. We know that we're being tracked. We're aware. We know, and so did another terrorist organization that told us that there's a reason why they haven't got to us yet. There's an inbox message that I have that I've screenshotted that somebody told me, Sleepy Joe will come after you. He has Musk and NASA computer training to make sure that you die soon. That was the threat that I got. I thought, you know what? Your mother must love you, sir. Your mother must adore you. Is that why she don't like you too? Your whole family must love you. Thanks. But do you think they're kidding? Do you think that... I know they're not kidding. I know that there's somebody watching this right now. You think I'm stupid? I know that they're keeping an eye on us. I'm aware. I trained with you. I'm not stupid. How do you think that we've survived this entire time? You think I'm not aware of the things that are going on under this camera? I'm aware. I know that people are completely listening to us right now. But they also know that if something happens to us, how people, there's people go into satanic ritual abuse meetings, grab children, slit their throats, and use their blood as a margarita. People chop children's bodies up and eat them like chicken wings. You can pull a child's body apart. People want to say, oh, abortion this, abortion that. Do you know what it's like to watch a child kick around in a fetus sack? Do you know what that's like? While somebody pokes at it? That's not a big deal. Or somebody's sitting there poking at a fetus sack like it's a baby or like it's a fishy stuck in a bag that you just got from the fish market. And then they cut the bag open and barely the baby's limbs come off like tender meat. How can I say that with a straight face? You want to know how? Because I couldn't budge before. You would be surprised with the shit that I saw. There's a reason why people are like, oh, well, what do you want the most? To go to sleep, but I can't. Because nobody knows the truth. And every time I close my eyes, I can hear screams and voices and... not hear voices. Don't go taking a clip of that. Don't go, I see how y'all do things. Don't be like, she said it, she crazy. No, I mean the voices of children that were screaming and tortured and being killed and brutalized and raped. And all I had to do was sit there. Because it was me too. Or it would have been me if I said anything. Your Planned Parenthoods are involved. All of them. All of them.
If you vote for them, if you stand for them, if you fund them, you're complicit.
You're complicit.
You've given your consent.
You give the right for people to take the aborted pieces of children and put them in a sack like leftover food. That's the reality of that.
There's a lot we can do to disrupt the demand. We can stop funding the demand. We can stop participating in the demand. We can stop giving our consent to things that damage our soul, that damage children. Stop spending your money on Hollywood and Planned Parenthood and trafficking places that are harming children, and we've got to stop participating in evil.
Yeah. Children. So we're somewhere right now we can't explain. So we can't explain what's going on next door. We just can't. We're safe. That's all we got. So we had to pick wisely. That's what we got. That's just what we got. Comfort women. I posted this in my. There's so much comments. I'm trying to get to the bottom. And off the. That looks funky, huh? Okay, whatever. So comfort women. I posted in my story, were a thing in World War One, Two.
One or two, I don't remember which. A while ago, a long time ago. Where
the military gets basically the permission to have sex with whatever woman will walk the base.
So it was mostly in Japan, China, Korea. They would send women onto the base, and then the men were able to have sex with them to help keep them focused and you have them in a better mindset to fight war. Is the whole purpose of that. That's not stopped. That's not just something that's done in other countries. That's done here. They let children on the bases.
That's not stopped. That still happens right now. That hasn't stopped at all. Majority of the military is involved. What is that breathing? That's grandma.
It's a slee stack.
You can hear her snoring. Yeah.
Can I get the microphone on?
That's grandma. I'll pick up everything. Yeah, grandma knocked out. Grandma getting some good Z's right now. Let her be. Let go and let God, please. At least you know who's the one doing the breathing, okay? So, y'all creeped out. Everybody in the comments like, who's breathing? Yeah. Then, okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about a friend of mine that I just talked to, because yesterday I kind of mentioned it. Was that yesterday? Whatever day that was. I mentioned it. It's been a blur. But I couldn't really mention it because I was distracted, and I really want to put this point across just in case I get the chance to talk to someone else, because honestly it was the best conversation that I've had. Someone found me. I'm not going to say her name because she's on here. A lot of survivors are on our pages. So there's a lot of stories that we will tell you guys, and these people we still talk to these people. So there was someone who called me and said that they remember me from when we used to strip or dance together in Los Angeles. At first, I'm like, listen, so many people are going to come out of the woodwork. They have been. So I let people talk. And I ask a lot of questions before we even get into it. So I really talked to her for a little bit, you know, and she was able to tell me what my specialty was back when I worked in the club. So that's how I know. She was able to tell me a lot. We were like clicked. Okay. After we made sure we got personal, then we got on a really personal level and we talked for a little bit. And, you know, I had asked her if she was upset with me. She kind of went around that for a second. And she did let me know that, yes, she was upset with me. Now, I want you to hear me when I say what I'm about to say, because there's a reason. She was upset with me because I was at the time 13, 14, and at the time she was in her 20s. When I went into the club, I went into the club with younger kids or kids my age sometimes, or by myself. But a lot of the times in Los Angeles, I dealt with a lot of police officers, not just in Los Angeles, but a lot. She remembers when we used to get to the club and I would basically end up taking regulars and taking people away from the girls that were older than me. I wasn't taking them, but my pimp set me up with them, or I was bitchy. I'm not even gonna lie right now. Like it was just as though I was bitchy. I was evil. Like people, I call myself soft now. Like I was bitchy. Like I was evil as shit. Like break your heels and do shit that you would never even imagine. You know, as an exotic dancer, do not fall off that stage, and you know what will happen to you if you do. So, I did some things. I really did. And honestly, I hate me. If I was somebody else, I'd hate me too. I'd want to kick my ass too. But I had this conversation with her, and she told me, you know, yes, I was upset with you because I didn't make money, first of all. I was kicked out of the club at a certain time of night. I never understood why there were younger girls that would come into the club, and the club was surrounded with police, and then everybody else would get kicked out.
So the police were coming after their shifts?
The police are catered to.
Hours.
And a lot of the clubs everywhere. This is not just in Los Angeles. But the police and the authorities of the city are catered to. So if there is a strip club, trust and believe the authorities are catered, which means even the doctors, firefighters, everyday people, when they come in, they are treated like kings and queens. They're catered to. The police station, they are catered to. If they get off work or if they go over and they meet up in their cars, they will shut the entire club down and kick everybody out, and the police are the only people that can be in there. Which is exactly what would happen. After a certain time of night, the older girls got kicked out, and me and usually a friend of mine, we were sometimes put with boys, but the boys were always on the other side of the club. Doing privates or whatever, dancing. I think there was only a few times, barely a few times, being honest with you, that I had to dance with a boy that was my age, or perform with a boy that was my age. It was not, huh?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really use the boys are different. The boys are just different. Back when they didn't stick around that long. They just didn't stick around that long. Back when I was in it a lot, you didn't see the boys for long. You seen them for a short time because of what they would do to them or the jobs that they get. So, yeah, I worked in the club a lot, and either me or another girl, or yeah, me and another girl majority. I think I was only there once by myself. Yeah, once in a situation like that, in a setting like that, but not dealing with this type of situation, but in a setting that way in a club was only once with a very well-known police department. But yeah, she was upset because it didn't make any sense to her. It didn't make any sense why I was the one that was called all the time, or I was the one who was taking regulars from somebody who they just came in just for their regular for that night as a dancer. There was a lot, but it was the realest conversation I've ever had because, you know, I was able to talk to her. I was able to tell her I was sorry. We were able to talk to each other and get on this understanding level. And then we talked about the good things, but we were able to, I was able to talk to her, and I felt like a bitch for telling her that, yeah, I'm glad you got kicked out, which is completely rude to say, but I'm glad she did, because if you only knew the things that happened in the club after hours, especially with authorities, then yeah. Slow press happening in your mic. I think because we have a new mic, and it's probably picking up Grandma sleeping. Breathe, guys. It's just Grandma sleeping. Mm-hmm. She catches some hard C's. See, now she awake. You know, woke her up.
I just snooze off.
She's I just snooze off once. She's up. Yeah, everybody in the comments is like, do y'all hear Grandma? And I'm like, yeah, everybody, she's fine. She's right here. See, she's up now. See, guys?
I woke myself up.
So she woke herself up. And she's like, what you talking about? Grandma ready.
I'm good.
Grandma woke up straight. I'm good. What you say about me? Yeah, that was that conversation. So I was happy about that, and I just kind of wanted to say something to other survivors to say that if you knew me or other dancers, and if you don't want to talk to me, that's totally fine, because I understand if you're angry with me. I told you guys, there's things that I've done that I can't forgive myself for. And when you have to do those things, somebody has to take the rap for it. Unfortunately. That's just how it goes. If you're in a pair and you talk back to your pimp, you're both getting hit. If you are in a pair and one of you try to run, then you're both getting tortured and abused as a punishment when you get back. Some people just don't understand that it's not a bad sex job gone wrong. That's the least of your worries. I don't think people understand either that it's not about it's about control. It's more so about control, because then your pimps start putting you up to things, which is why I say I have issues with completely telling you guys a lot of stuff, but I'll get there one day. Maybe I'll get there one day. But there's there's tactics where if you are with your pimp for a certain amount of time, it doesn't even have to be a long time. I mean, and this doesn't have to be like the pimp off the street, or this could be a family member, this could be someone else. That's not just your average Chester the molester in a white van. It's not that. Little do you know. But then they want you to hurt somebody. Sometimes there's somebody your age. Sometimes it's somebody that they know. Sometimes it's somebody they hire you to go after. Sometimes it's someone you love. And you have to do those things. So there's so many people that are mad at me because they consider me a traitor. They consider me, I took money, I stole, I was a thief, I did this and I did that. And I didn't. I just wanted to stay alive just like you do or everybody else does. Yes, I did some things that I can't forgive myself for, and I understand if so many are mad at me because, yeah, if you do something wrong, then, and if you end up leaving, they have to take their anger out on someone. So they will beat the hell out of you until you're damn near close to death or dead. They will shock you. They will rape somebody in your name and hurt somebody really bad because you did something wrong. You talked back too many times, or you made them angry, as they say. People don't get it that there are, I've said this before, I'm going to repeat this again, but there are people who put dildos on children's faces and tie them up and then hog tie somebody else and make another person or another child rape that other person with what's on their face. That happens all the time. If you don't hurt that person, if that person is not screaming like they're hurting, they're going to hurt you. There's a lot of things that happen, and if you don't do those things, then they hurt you. I mean, you have to basically choose whether you want to be hurt or you want to hurt someone else after a certain point.
Yeah, that's common tactics. Those are common tactics.
You don't have a way out. There is no way out. You have to make a choice, and either choice is fucked up.
And that's it's a control thing, because then you feel complicit.
And you feel like it's your fault. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just how they work that shit. It's a science. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing what they're doing. It's not for no reason. It helps them keep control.
Yeah. People will dress you up in a church choir and make you not wear anything under your robes, take you to a church and tie somebody up in the middle of the church and have a shit ton of melting candles ready.
Well, they'll do stuff like, they do the most twisted stuff. They will have people dress up like Jesus, and then they'll rape little kids. And then if a little kid says, Jesus raped me, what do you say to that kid? You're crazy? Jesus didn't rape you. They do mind control things, crazy things, like insane things.
Keep going.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of insane shit they do.
Just twisted.
And that's the thing. People can't wrap their head around that someone like that is doing that type of thing, because it's too unreal. It's too crazy.
That's why I say believe your kids, first of all. Always believe your kids. Even if they say Jesus raised me, figure that shit out. Kids don't lie. Listen to them. Just, it goes to your level of understanding. Just because you can't understand what they're trying to tell you doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah. There's a lot. There is so much. So much that goes into the trafficking is, and I think people just think, oh my gosh, maybe it was just missionary sex that
if Allie was just sex trafficked, I wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be sitting here. We'd be back home. I would be in some group, some local group, anti-trafficking local group, and that would probably be the end of it. This is so much bigger and so much worse than just trafficking. Trafficking's not even a blip. Trafficking's just barely a symptom.
Yeah, barely. Barely. Sabi, I hope you escorted yourself out because I can't find you. It seemed like you escorted yourself out. That's good. We get joy when the trash takes itself out. So thank you so much. So also, I think people should unfollow all celebrities.
My standard rule with celebrities is, knowing what I know, is that they're guilty, and then I try to prove they're innocent instead of the old-fashioned way of everybody's innocent. Because when you are in that industry, things are required of you to continue to be in that industry. Evil, vile things are required of you. You're not there by your merit. You're not there by your skills. You're not there by your looks, your voice. You're there because somebody placed you there, and you're there, and things are going to be required of you. So you all be safe if you peg everybody in Hollywood as guilty, and then work backwards and try to prove if they're innocent or not.
Yeah.
That's just how I've started doing things, because I've not found anybody.
It's not just like, oh, somebody had quick sex with a kid. No.
They're drinking blood. They're
drinking blood. They're eating children.
They're doing rituals. It's
literally
not just...
they're literally using their body until, like I said in my post, there's nothing else to use. Your body will look like ground beef after they get finished with you, and that's after they took all necessary essential parts. People don't understand that trafficking is not just sex. It's not at all. After they're done having sex with you, they take your organs. After they're done with your organs, then they use your body for smuggling. Whether that means that they put you in a hearse that looks like they're just trying to take dead bodies from one place to another, and they pack you full of drugs, and they use you as a smuggle boarder. They use you as a suitcase. It's called a suitcase. And they use your dead body to transport and to smuggle drugs. People... And no, it has no preference, it has no age, it has no label, it has nothing on it. No, it's just there's some sick fetishes that people have for sex. You wouldn't believe it. There's track homes. There's track homes in Fontana, California that are just designated to human trafficking. I tried to run. It didn't work for me. I was with my pimp. He took me to my it was my second porn jobs. But the orders just kept getting longer and longer and longer. We went to a house, and I mean they tell you they tell you what they're gonna do to you sometimes. Um, they so I was supposed to do a bondage job. It wasn't really a bondage job. It was a every time I try to spit this shit out, it doesn't come out as easy as I thought it would. So spit it out, honestly. So okay, so I went to this house, and before, when I did my first job, wasn't for that long, like maybe a few hours. Sorry. Okay. So I went to this job, and it sounds so bad to say that the first time wasn't that bad. The first time that there wasn't wax. The first time it was just, it just, I hate doing this part, because I swear I can do it, and then the sweat starts. I can't breathe. Okay, I can say it. I can just, yeah. I'm loud. Give me a second. So I had, let me get my words. Sorry. Okay, so I had this job, and it was kind of just whips at first. I don't know, not just like, it wasn't as bad. I'm gonna stop trying to. Anyways, fast forward, I went back, and they told me that there was like a lot of wax and different type of sets that was involved, and why can't I've said this before. Alright. I've said this before. Okay, yeah, it is what it is. So, some things I just feel like people would hate me if they really knew the truth, because I know that there's some people on here that are watching this and like, okay. So I went to this job, and they told me there was like different houses or different sets that I needed to do, and I didn't understand what that meant at first. My order was for 8 hours, but it was with different sets. So I had there's sets, there's jobs, there's
So
each house has
on the
like
street.
a water job, or so it's full of pools, or there's leashes, so somebody can drag you around the house.
So
And
each house was set up with a different type of theme or a different fetish.
yeah, like a really sick fetish. So if there's like I had a lot of I'm short, so I had a lot of people with child fetishes. So a lot of dudes wanted to dress me up and release me into the house like a wild animal and chase me around and pretend that they were like babysitters. But then there's some dudes that want you to treat them like they're the baby. So they get dressed up in a diaper and they want you to hold them and they want you to take care of them literally like they're a baby and change their diaper and all kind of stuff. So then there's just so much different jobs. Bondage jobs, wax jobs, blood jobs, machine jobs, sorry. So there's just anyways, I tried to run, and that's how I found out there was more houses, because I tried to run thinking that I was like in a normal neighborhood. And I just ran into more houses. So there's a lot, and you don't get out. You don't. They were KB homes. They're in Fontana. So people don't understand that there's not. It's more than just what you think it is. It's just more than what you think it is. People stick your head in the toilet and make you lick the floor and suffocate you with pillows and want to have a house where there's just caskets and dead bodies, or play dead bodies and make your body cold and put you in makeup and make you look dead. People pay a lot of money for that.
We got to disrupt the demand, and by disrupting the demand, we've got to stop watching pornography. We got to stop buying pornography. We've got to stop incorporating that into our life. We've got to cut out our idol worship in Hollywood, and there's just a lot of things that we can do. It might be easier to throw money at something. It might be easier to call somebody. It might be easier to expect somebody else to come do it. But we can start making changes in our own lives, in our day-to-day life. Stop going to movies. Stop funding these people. Stop buying their music. Stop watching them. Stop letting your kids idolize them. Stop with the pornography. There's just a lot that we can start doing on a day-to-day basis.
If you knew what goes on in an hour, you wouldn't just be watching this live.
A lot of damage can be done to a child in a very short amount of time.
People rape children with staircase banisters. You don't understand. I can't sleep because I get stuck in my nightmares. I can't sleep because I hate to dream because I get stuck. And when I wake up, it doesn't feel like it was just a dream. I try not to sleep because I don't want to deal with the hell that goes on in my mind too, but it doesn't matter because nobody knows the truth.
Most survivors are up all night. They're awake all night, every night. There are survivors, there are male survivors who, during ritual times or ritual days, they'll have blood in their underwear from being raped rectally, even though it's been 30 years later. They'll still have the same pain. Survivors relive that stuff. Every ritual holiday, survivors go through all that pain like it just happened. Which is why I say once they get out, things aren't better.
No, I had a conversation with the dancer one day because she's like, "What is your problem?" Because I never get an attitude with somebody, especially when I work. I get up, I go do what I'm supposed to do, and sometimes people are like, "Why are you so happy?" And I'm like, "If you only knew, if you only knew that this is my clown face. If you only knew this is not what you think it is." People don't understand that I've been tied up so many ways that my hips are not okay. I walk funky because of things that have been done to me. They get to still be free. And they get to be essential Hollywood. Not just them, but low-grade people. I'm not just talking about the elite celebrities. I'm not just talking about elite celebrities. It was in my family. It was in my babysitters. I dealt with it through my daycares, my preschools, all of the schools that I freaking went to. My foster homes. You name it. My therapist, my counselors, my school teachers. I can't tell you how many times somebody attacked me and I'm sitting there like, was it me? Because I feel like I bring something ugly out in people. I cannot be doing anything. My mother has been sitting right there and I'm just like, I don't know what's in me that people just don't know. And people are like, oh, well, there was before this you just had no idea that I scrape myself off the ground all the time, literally get up in the morning crying and screaming because I can't feel my legs. I'm damn near throwing myself out of the window because my nightmares are so bad that I'm trying to get away from them in my sleep, and when I wake up I've like torn up my room or damn near thrown myself out of the window or worse. Sometimes the nightmares get so bad I have like ab reactions. So if you don't know what ab reactions are, if you slap someone in the face and they get a welt, and then if they
20 years later, if somebody has a flashback again, that welt will actually appear on their face, or hands that choking your throat. will actually appear. They relive that pain over and over and over and over and over, in the realest way. There's grown men that are survivors, like I said, that will have rectal bleeding every year during the rituals. Welts, bruises, survivors relive that over and over and over. It doesn't stop, it doesn't get better. It's just part of a survivor's life.
I wish I could just get some peace, but I feel like the reason why I can't stop hearing the things that I hear is because I know so much. I feel like I'm keeping secrets now, and I feel like I'm just as guilty. You can never unhear the sound of someone raping a newborn baby and their ribs cracking and their body breaking. You can't unhear that. You can't unsee it. You can't take anything back. The screams, the smells. I could hear a kid screaming in the pool, and my PTSD will go off the chain. I will lose it thinking that somebody's hurting somebody unless I know that that's a kid having fun. That's not even the worst part. If I told you guys the worst part, y'all wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. The reason why I'm not telling you the worst part is because the basics are something that people need to get their hands around before they get their hands around what is next.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the one that goes and drags the pedophiles out of their house and tears them limb from limb. But we don't want to be the ones that stop sending our money to cricket organizations. We don't want to be the ones that turn off the TV. We don't want to be the ones that stop going to movies.
Yeah, the money situation, like...
we got to start with the little things. We got to clean up our own selves and our own complicit behavior before we can move on to the big things. We all are complicit. Every American, even me, I'm still complicit. I have to stop listening to certain music. I've got to turn off the TV. I've got to stop and be careful where I'm putting my money and look and see who's doing what with the money. And we're all complicit. So we got to start with the little things before we can go after the big things. That makes sense.
Yeah.
How many magazines, People magazine, how many Enquirers do you have in your home? How many celebrity books do you have in your home? How much of your money goes to buying things that celebrities recommend or buying their brand? Or we can disrupt their demand. We can stop some of this stuff with just a little bit of changes in our day-to-day life. That's harder to do than actually going and dragging a pedophile out of their home. Everybody wants to do the big grand gestures, but nobody wants to do the hard work and the little things first.
No.
Disrupt the demand. That's on us.
And nobody understands, like, oh, so I'm just stopping this person from having sex with this kid? No. You're stopping this person from using your kid as cattle. Worse than cattle. They don't even brand kids anymore. They put virtual tattoos in them so you can scan them like a price scanner. People don't brand anymore. They put those electric barcode tattoos under your skin so that the only thing you gotta do is go up to somebody with a phone and beep, you're $30. People, it's an industry that has been alive, well functioning, and very well funded for a very long time. People don't understand how much you're kind of adding to it.
We haven't even talked about labor trafficking or any of those things. Who's
Yeah.
making your clothes? Who's making the things you use
And
every
he's like,
day?
can you give me a recap of your story? I don't even think I know a recap of my story. There is no short summary. There really isn't. That's why we started making videos slowly. Because there is no short summary. None. I went through so much that you... It's a lot. A lot of information. A lot of things happen. I saw a lot of things happen. When you're being taken in for an auction order, if you're not the one on deck, or if you're not the one that they're checking out, if it's that type of auction, because it doesn't always have to be the auction where you individually get bid on. Sometimes you could get bid on in groups. They treat you like product in retail. So sometimes it's an individual bid. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a package. You can get 2 girls. You can get 3 girls. You can get a Mexican, black, and Indian girl. Like it's a package. But if you're individually, I have been strapped to tables and beds and all kind of things and had to watch other people go through things. And they didn't make it. They'll never be able to tell you their story. They'll never be able to tell you what their first name was. You'll never know what their smile looked like. You'll never know what their tone of voice would have sounded like. You don't know where they come from, what's their last name, what's their first name, or let alone their favorite color. There are a lot of people who are my friends. They're more than my friends. When you are forced to have sex with somebody, make sure that you have this connection, that they don't kill you. Kind of get on a different level of a bond. It's kind of more than just borrowing your lipstick. There's a big difference. There's foster kids. They're so quick to, hi, how are you? Because why? That's what they know. They don't have parents. So they know that I have to talk to you because I might have to live with you. So in order for me to live with you peacefully, I'm going to have to say something to you. So automatically, you're very open. Very vulnerable, very easy to just talk to and approach. Kids in foster care, in 2 seconds, they'll be like, I want to go home with you because somebody treats me nice. Because someone treats them nice. So imagine what they do to trafficking survivors. You have to, if there's like an auction or something going on, you are minding your P's and Q's. You have other people who are watching and they're taking note that whatever you do wrong, you definitely don't want to do that. We're going to take 3 questions real quick and then we're going to go. The Zoom meeting is going to take a minute to set up, y'all. That's going to take a minute to set up. We don't really have that much that much manpower right now. Like, just adding you guys to my Instagram is a lot. I'm adding to other platforms, trying to answer messages, trying to even go through messages. I still can't get past the first 500 messages in my inbox because it refreshes. So people that have texted me right when this began, I probably will never see that message. Honest to God. There are people who are like, there's somebody trying to get in touch with you. I probably will never see that message because it's that far down. We still need help. But we don't know who we trust. There's too much money that has been put into trafficking organizations. I asked you guys, with all due respect, to stop tagging Tim Ballard. Why? Because he has not answered one time. Not that I expected him to, not that I wanted him to, required him to. This live is about to end and I really need to explain this, so you guys might come on for a part 3. Just real quick. But Let me end this live and tell you why I asked you to stop tagging Tim Ballard. Just 14 seconds. Byom, 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 byom.